Linda. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. I am so excited today to finally be able to share this new product with you. I have been so excited since they announced. Oh, I forgot to turn off. Hang on. Sorry. The volume. Lost the train of thought. Yeah, I've just been so excited to play with it. They released it. Well, they told us it was coming way back. And I was so excited because I've been putting it into, there's for demonstrators, there's like a product wish list box kind of thing that you can put ideas into. And so I'd been, can we get a hot foil machine? Is there some way of foiling? Or and then they announced it was coming, and then but we weren't allowed to say anything, and then they released it to us to purchase, and I was so excited. I bought it right away, and I expedited it, and I was going to share it on my live, and then can't tell anyone still. We don't know when we're releasing it to customers, and then so finally this week they announced that they're releasing it as of this Friday to customers. So if you also have been wishing to be able to add some shine to your products, you'll be able to get it. I have a feeling it's going to be a hot commodity. I don't know for sure. But if you are wanting one sooner than later, I mean, it'll be restocked. It's, you know, a product to stay, I would assume. So it'll be available. The one thing I did learn, though, well, two things to note. If you want to be able to do the hot foiling, you need to have our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the big one, not the mini. And I was thinking that it was going to fit in the old Big Shot, the black die cut and emboss machine, but apparently one of the ladies in our group said that it's too wide. It's just a little bit too wide, so it can't go through. So you need to have our Stampin' Up! Machine, the newest one, the white one, this one, if you want to be able to use the hot foil machine. So if you already have the machine, then the hot foil part isn't a huge investment. But yes, unfortunately, you need to have that machine to be able to use this machine. But anyways, that aside, it's still super exciting that it's a possibility and that it's here, and they actually released quite a few products to go with it, and apparently there's lots more to come, so that's exciting. There's the new July, so starting July 1st, there was a new starter kit. I don't want to call it a promotion, it's just a whole new starter kit way of life. So if you're a first timer that starts up, you will get a welcome box, and it's got like a card making kit and a block, and I think it comes with ink, pens, like just all the things, like kind of a fun welcome box, which we didn't used to get before, but it's a one-time thing only. So, you know, if you start and then you drop and then you come back like a month or two later, you're not going to get a second box, which is fine. You don't need doubles. And if you're a demonstrator and you haven't received the box because you signed up before July 1st, it will be available for purchase. So if you want to be able to get your hands on it so you can show your customers or you can just see it for yourself, it will be available to demonstrators just for a short, I think like 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of July or something. So watch for that. But other than that, I want to play with this foil machine. So my plan today is to show you the machine, how it works, the steps to making it work, the sandwich you need. I'm going to show you the products that I purchased that go with it and some samples that I've made. I've been playing. I've been playing with it. And a couple of tricks that I've learned with playing with it. So hopefully it'll get you, it'll A, show you how it works and whether you're interested, and B, ways to use it. And I think I'm going to, if you guys are interested, I'm going to do a part B where it's like one step further, things that you can do with it that you might have not have thought of. You know me, I always have to change it up. I did forget to mention, if you are watching, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. I do try and check the comments as I'm going. I might get too excited this go round, but you never know. I'll try and check. If you're watching the replay, also let me know you're watching the replay, where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate anyone who comes to watch my videos. I hope you enjoy them. And if you do enjoy them, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. That way you'll get notifications when I go live. All right, I'm going to get turned around here and we will get started. I'll do the awkward hand in the camera. And I've got this raised, so we'll see how this goes in terms of how it shows up. I might have to zoom in at some point, but I wanted to be able to have the big shot. Now I'm on the old machine. Big boss. Okay, so you've probably all seen this page. I don't know. I would think I'm allowed to show you, but anyways, I don't really need to show you. I can show you this page. So the machine itself, it comes with the base, which is this. It has a silicone mat that it sits on. So, you know, because it says it gets hot. Now, I haven't tried touching like right center, but when I take it and I hold it, I've never had any heat. Like it's pretty good. I was really nervous at first, and I haven't had any burns or haven't felt any heat that's been an issue. So it comes with these two pieces. It comes with two plates. So it has the hot foil shim, and then it has the hot foil spacer. So you need those two when you're running it through. It comes with this other silicone mat, and this is for you to put your dies, the hot foil dies on when it's hot. So you have a place to put them. I'll use this as an example. So this is one of the dies, and so say it was hot, you didn't want to touch it. It comes also with this magnet tool. Now this one, for these big ones, you got to kind of get it in the center, and then you just release it, and then it's not gonna burn anything. So that's that. It comes with that. I think that's all. Oh, and then it comes with the cord. So I don't know if some of you, I'd seen other companies foil machines I've been watching, which is why I wanted one. And there's like clicks in and plugs into this big base. So it's kind of nice that this is smaller. And then you just have the cord that's plugged in, and I'm going to plug it in now so it starts heating, and it'll start to blink. It turns on automatically. It starts blinking. It's gonna, I think it's 5 to 6 minutes that it takes to heat up, and then it'll beep. And then this will go solid. This starts to flash, which means put your hot foil die on. And then you put your die on, you let that heat up, and it'll, you have to hit the button once you put the die on, and it'll turn yellow. And then once it's ready, it'll turn green, and then you make your sandwich. So we will do that once that is ready. While we're waiting for that to heat, I will show you some of the products. I'll keep the ones that I'm doing. So there are different bundles that are available. There's some bundles that are a hot foil die and a stamp. There's some that are a hot foil die and like die cutting dies. There's some, I think, that have all three, but usually the stamp isn't not necessarily matching. There's, you'll see there's one that has stencils, which is amazing. There's some standalone ones. There's all sorts of different ones. I thought that this one matched this, like I thought it stamped inside of this. I should have known better because they're not quite the same shape. And I was kind of disappointed at first, and then I stamped it, and then I was pleasantly surprised. So here is the just some gold foil. Oh, I forgot to say, they do have 3 colors of foils right now. They're supposed to be coming out with more. Right now we've got this, they call it light pink. There's silver and there's gold. It comes in this, I was like, that's it, this little box, because it didn't let us buy 2 of these. It comes with 2 rolls, and there's quite a bit in a roll. I've used a lot. This is still my first roll, and there's still quite a bit left on each roll. So don't be fooled by the small packaging. They go a long way. They're very thin. So anyways, this is the gold foil on just a piece of basic white. So that's this leaf. And you can, the hot foil dies are different than our dies. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but they're like a totally different feel. They're smooth. They're a different material, obviously. And they're not sharp. Not that the other dies are sharp, but they're not as deep, I guess. And it just kind of presses it. It's such a pretty look. So that's just the plain foil. And then, like I said, I went to stamp the leaf and I was like, oh, this doesn't match. But it actually turned out super pretty. I inked up the stamp with soft sea foam, and then I took my dauber and I used some pretty peacock and went around on the leaves. So that's how I got the two-tone. But isn't that pretty? It does not need to match to look good. So anyways, that's that one. And then we've got, let's see what else. So we've got this one that's also a stamp set and a hot foil set. So no dies for this one, no cutting dies, I should say. Just hot foil dies. So you've got like the bricks. This is kind of florally, and then the, so when it's in gold now, it's the foil, and when it's gray or black? No, I can't think. Gray is when there's a cutting die. So no cutting dies on this one. This is the stamp set that goes with. So that's another bundle. I've used this background and just did that with silver foil. And then we will be playing with these butterflies because, oh my gosh, they're the ones with the stencils. So pretty, as well as the words. Okay, so that's another one. Then we've got this one that I kind of gave you a sneak peek of. This is stamps. And then this is the die / hot foil. So it's got both. So this bottom part, again, you probably can't tell. If I feel them starting here, these are all the hot foil dies. And then these ones up here are the die cutting ones. So you can foil and then you can die cut. So here I foiled the label piece and then I die cut it out with the die cut, and then I foiled on the sides with the other one on another piece of paper. Now this takes some lining up, and I'm going to show you as we are doing the hot foiling a neat trick that you can easily do in order to be able to line things up a little easier. If you're, you know, like for this, I didn't have to line it up, but if I wanted to line up, say I wanted to just do this flat on my paper and I wanted it centered, this trick will help you to be able to do that. So that's another one. Then we've got, I haven't played with the stamp set yet, although it is pretty. I don't know if this, I would assume this fits into this. And then these ones into these. It looks like that's how it goes. And then the leaves on here. I think it's a 2-step stamp. I should play with it. I haven't played with it. Anyways. So then there's this one. So you've got, oh, our foiling is ready. I will continue with that after. I'm going to pull this machine here so you can hopefully see it. And so now it's saying, use me. So I'm going to use, let's use this one first. This nice big background one. And we're just going to put it on here like so. And we're going to let it heat up. But before we let it heat up, we have to hit the button. So when the yellow is, I am so bad. I sit there and it's like, why isn't, oh, I forgot to hit the button. So it's probably warm. It obviously doesn't have, I wish it had sensors, because even, it must have some sort of sensor, because it is usually faster once it is already hot, but it's not like super fast. I don't know how hot it actually gets. I haven't tried burning my hand on it. It does get, like, I can feel the heat, so I probably don't want to touch the metal. And then I should probably cut a piece of, actually, I'm going to do this in gold. I think I will do gold. So it's pretty much the full size of a piece of paper, so I'm going to cut. Now the foil is not something that you really can cut in a, I need to get a bigger pair of shears is what I need to do, because it's hard to use the little ones to cut across, whereas if you have some big ones, it's easier. So when this is ready, you always want to put the shiny side down towards your metal, because you don't want, otherwise you'll be sticking the gold to the die. So now it turned green, so that means it's ready. So I find that it'll kind of grab it, not grab it, but it like static clings to it, which is nice. So I put my foil on, and then now see how this is bigger. If I was smart, I would have done my centering trick, but I'll show you that on the next one. And then you're going to need something to, and probably not metal because it scratches the foil, but anyways. And then you're going to take your shims, so the hot foil and the other one. I'm going to put it down so I can touch this and I'm not burning. And then I find the easiest way, rather than pulling it and pulling that, you just push it down and then it comes out, because it's magnetic. And then I'm going to just put this out of the way. It sits pretty good. You don't have to worry about it moving. Like, I've carried it across the room and it doesn't tend to want to move on me. So I'm just going to bring this in here, put it in, and you want to roll it through slowly. You don't want to go at warp speed, because you want the pressure to be nice and even and really get on every spot to have a nice, good print, especially on a big one like this. So then I'm just going to put this back on the silicone mat over here while I move my big boss out of the way, and then I can bring this back here, and then we'll take these off. And a lot of times it likes to stick to the plates, which is great, because then you don't have to try and get it off. Not always, but it does every so often. And then look at that. I find that, and I don't know if it was a pressure thing or a cooling thing. I haven't figured it out, but I feel like when I peel it when it's still warm, it seems to do better than when it's already cold. I don't know for sure, but I just feel like that's kind of how it's working. So I'm going to plug this back in so it can start heating again. And so then we have this. Now, I do have a trick for you. So don't throw these away. I'm not going to show you today, but there is a way of using this. So hold on to your negatives, because they're beautiful. Why throw this away, right? You want to use all the beautiful foil. So I've got a stash of foils to be used. I don't know if I kept any out where I have used the negative. So anyways, this is the gold on Blackberry Bliss. This is the pink on black. Then I've also, this one I already cut because I was going to use it on something. This one was pink on white. And then I colored the flowers with markers. And then I brushed the white background with some pink. I think it was Barely Blush. I don't know for, I don't remember. I did it a while ago. So anyways, that's the, I mean, you could color it bold. You could just cut out a piece of colored and put it on here. I'm not loving this. This is too, I should have used the pink on here. I had a different vision in my head. It's just busy. I am not a big busy person, but I'm sure in a background, and then if you cover some of it up or something, it will look beautiful. But I love this die. Like, it's beautiful. Like, you could use this with just words and have a beautiful, beautiful card. All right. So then let me continue. Oops. Oh, I guess it's still warm. We'll leave that. We'll leave that aside. I'll come back to this one that I was showing you when it beeped at me. Okay, so here's the gold. So these are the heat dies, and then these are the cutouts. So it's nice because it foils your words. Oh, look at that. and then you cut it all out. So it's all like one and done. So I did a bunch of different foil colors, different cardstock colors. So then I have sentiments ready to go. All right, let's bring this back in here. And then this time we're going to take those nice butterflies. So this one has the heat foiling dies, and then it has the die cutting dies. So here, this piece is also a heat foil one, as well as these. The rest are die cuts. I think this is a heat foil. I heat foiled with it and it worked. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe it's not. That's funny. Funny. Okay. I should try that again and see if it works again. So then I'm going to put my die on there. I'm going to hit the button so it turns yellow. Now, I was saying before that, like, say I didn't want to cut these butterflies out. I could, before I put it down, I'd want to, I made a frame with paper, and then I can center this. And then when I go to put my paper down, I will know where to put it. I've left this on and it hasn't been an issue, but rather than make it hot, I'll take it off. You could tape it down and just flip it over because these edges don't get hot. But I'll just move it for now while it's heating. And then, so yeah, so we've got all these beautiful sentiments. I do have, well, that one card I showed you was from these sentiments. And you'll be seeing more when I do the butterfly. Then there's this one, Classic Greetings. So awesome, perfect, nice big greetings with the outline die cuts, which are awesome. Of course, such a big set, I needed two magnets, one for the dies and one for the foil dies. And then I've got, so I did them in gold on black and white, and I was going to use this on a pink card and I didn't end up using it. Anyways, okay, so we're ready. So if we put our little shim back so that it looks centered, then you know what I just realized? The cardstock I have isn't a piece of, here, this one is. Okay, oh, we need our foil. I did not cut a piece of foil. Oh, there's a piece cut already here. Let's use this. It's a little bit big, but I'm going to use it this way. And the reason is so that I can see the outline. And then we can center it based on our frame. And then we can put the shim on the whole thing. The frame can stay. Then we unplug it. move it over here. Bring in the big boss. Slide this in and run it through. Okay, put it over there. Move this out of the way. Bring this back over here. We'll take this off. Take our frame off. And then we have our nice butterfly print. And voila, isn't that beautiful? So now I get to show you the stencils that go with it. That's my favorite. I hope they come out with so many more. I love stencils. I love the stencils that have the... Okay, so I'm going to move this big one because it's cool. It cools quite quickly. I'm going to put this one on the silicone mat. Move that out of the way. And then I'm going to pull in our dies that are part of this set here. And then I'm going to cheat. Now, if you don't have a grip mat, I hope, that's another thing I hope Stampin' Up! Comes out with. But for now, they still haven't come out with one. So this is not a Stampin' Up! Thing, but I prefer it to having to tape everything down because I'm lazy. All right, so then you want to line up your stencil so that you want to foil first and then stencil, because then you have the lines to line it up with. I like to take a pen. As you can see, I haven't, they wipe off if I wipe the mat. Okay, I like to leave the back of the grip mat, like you could take it off so it sticks to you, but I like to be able to move it. So I just leave it as is. Then where's my, oh, in front of my nose. Okay, so first I've got Barely Blush. This might not look as good with this, but we'll see. I think I did it with the silver before. Okay, and I'm just gonna come in and we're gonna brush on our color. You could, you could go light to dark and put, like, if you wanted it dark in the center and then lighter as it goes out. You can get as creative as you want with your blending. I like the new felt pads for the blender brushes. If you've watched me before, I usually do the foam pads onto my glass mat, but I don't worry as much about the felt pad with the brushes wrecking them and I find they also tend to blend the ink smoother because the ink doesn't blob on the way it does with the felt pads. So I'm excited for the new, to get all the colors. Ugh, not that I'm going to buy all the colors right away, but it'll be nice to have our colors available in the felt pads also. So then this lines up again. And this time I think I will use this purple, but this is such a dark purple. I don't want a lot of it, so I'm going to try and blotch off a lot, and then I'm going to be very light-handed with it coming in, because otherwise it can get dark real fast. So if you've got a darker color and you don't want it to to be super dark. Just be very light-handed and, you know, wipe off a bunch before you get going. And then you can always stop and peek and see if you like the way it looks. I'm happy with that. And then where's our third one? Here's our third one. Look at that spell. That doesn't. There. Okay, and then we'll move that. I thought I had a wipe. And then we're using Pretty Peacock, so again, another dark color. So I'll dab a lot of it off, and then we'll come in and this. So the one thing to note with this stencil is you end up going on top of your first colors, both the first and the second. So you want to make sure that you're ordering it from lightest to darkest. Not necessarily lightest to darkest in what the color, like I think Blackberry Bliss is actually darker than the Pretty Peacock, but just in kind of how much, you know, like I was light-handed with the Blackberry Bliss, where I'm going a little heavier handed with the Pretty Peacock. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. The stencils just have that. Ta-da. Now, the one thing I have learned is you end up with a lot of ink on the foiling, and it was the silver, and so it was really showing. So I just took my cloth and then I got ink all over the paper. Now, if you're die cutting it, it's not the end of the world. But if you're wanting this to leave this as is, then you probably don't want to swipe it. So you can dab it, or you can, I used a Kleenex for the next ones and kind of just wiped it gingerly into the colors instead of onto the white. Okay, so we'll just take a Kleenex here. Especially on this, although I don't find it shows on this pink as much. It's mostly this butterfly I find that gets the most ink kind of on the foiling. But as long as it's still shiny, I don't think you have to worry, and it still has quite a bit of shine. So you could, since we centered this with our handy dandy frame, it's nicely centered on our paper. I mean, this is one where if it was slightly off, it probably wouldn't show that much. But that's just the idea, to be able to line up your projects. Now, if I wanted to cut these out to use individually, where did my butterflies go? Here they are. Okay, so then you would take the die cut and you would just run it through like so, and then you end up with all these butterflies. So this is the one where I smooshed it. So it has quite a different look with the silver versus the pink. I think I shouldn't have used the purple with the pink. I should have gone something a little bit different. But, and then there's, these ones are gold. So those are the different, but you know, sky's the limit. So I had done some, well, here's, this one was silver with the pinks and oranges. And then this one's more similar, again, with the pink. But this one was pink, I think Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock. So it definitely pulled in the pink more than having the purple here. I think I could have done a darker pink here and then maybe Lost Lagoon. I don't know. It's still it's still okay. I just don't love the purple against the pink. Anyways, and then these are the little sentiments that the other bundle. Let me put my butterflies away here, and I will show you the rest of the. So this isn't all of the things that are available. Obviously, I didn't buy it all. So there's still more than just this available, but I'm showing you what I have. So like I said, I was on these ones, and I had just blender brushed this one with the Barely Blush because I was going to use it, and then I decided it was too much gold. But this is I could see using this a ton. Especially, I hope they get some black foil. I think it would be amazing with black foil on white. It would be the perfect sentiments. And then there's another fun background, the polka dots. I had to have the polka dots right away. I was playing with our balloon set with the big balloons because I was making a card for my son who's turning 18, and I did some polka dot backgrounds and then cut out the balloons so it looks like a polka dotted foiled balloon. Super awesome, so much fun. So you could, I had done, I can't remember what I used it on. I didn't even take a lot of pictures with the foiling because I knew I wasn't allowed to show it, and now I think I've given away some of my cards that I made. But anyways, I had done the pink foil, which is super cute. So that's another fun, easy one to do. And I love how it kind of presses into, like, you know how our heat embossing, you get like you get an outer lip, like you get some texture, whereas this takes it in and has the foil. So it looks like, you know, what you would buy at the store. So this next one is like, to me, a must-have. Because then you can make any sentiment, any whatever. It is this Luxe Alphabet Numbers and Numbers hot foils and dies. So you've got the hot foiling, and then you've got the die cuts, and they cut all in one, or in three, depending. So the numbers are all together, the letters are all together, and then the extras. So these are the foil, and then these are the die cuts. So I did a bunch. I did 2 of each because, you know, the one thing, I don't know if it's a complaint, is that there's only 1 letter of each. And when you're spelling things, usually you need like 2 A's or 2 P's, whatever. So then the numbers, but it leaves a beautiful foiled background. So actually there was some samples in the brochure where they actually just cut this out and used this background as decoration. I don't know if they filled, let's see, I don't know if I'm gonna go on the, oh yeah, so they put the 0 and the 8 pieces back in, and probably the 6 and the 4. So you'd have to fill in, which I think I kept them. So I have these little, I don't know, what are they? 5x5. I got them on Amazon. I like to keep like my sentiments, and when these ones are all the silver and white. So you can do silver on black. You can do foil on any color cardstock. I just did the basics, and then I did the gold. I haven't done the pink yet, but it's come in handy. I've used it with the numbers. I've used it with letters. I've had fun with this. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to show you. So I just wanted to go through and show you how the machine worked, show you all the pieces and parts. If you have any questions, let me know. But I think I will do a part 2 where we'll get more into the techniques and really using it and doing some completed cards, because today I just showed you completed cards. I didn't do them start to finish as everything falls down. But yeah, so hopefully that you are just as excited about this whole hot foiling thing. I don't know if the video does it justice in showing how beautiful everything becomes. I'm just gonna find my cards here to show you one more time if you've missed it. I should have stacked them. Should have stacked them all together. I don't know, I think I'm missing some, but anyways. We've got this one. We've got this one. So the nice little sentiments and the frames, the butterflies, the leaves. This one isn't quite finished. But you know, you could even just do just the leaves and a sentiment and voila, it's just like, it's a wow factor. It just steps up your cards one more step. So yeah, it's funny because I unplugged my heat tool to have everything out for the live and it's like, I wonder how much I'm going to use my heat tool. I think I'll still heat and emboss for certain things, but yeah, the foiling is amazing. You have to try it for yourself to really appreciate it. All right, well, hopefully this has been educational, entertaining, inspiring. The machine is going to be available this Friday. I don't know if it goes on at midnight, I can't remember. But yeah, it'll be available this Friday if you go onto my store and look up the hot foil machine and it'll be there. It comes as a, you know, kind of like the Stampin' and Cut and Emboss machine where it comes with the plates and all the things that you need to get started, and then you just have to purchase whatever foiling dies and stuff that you want to be able to play with, and foils, of course. And just so you know, like, not that Stampin' Up has them, but there are 2 different foils out there if you're trying to buy things. That Stampin' Up, they said that they tried many different foils before choosing these ones because they work the best. Stampin' Up has a really high standard of products. They have high expectations, and so you know, you could buy other hot foils, but there's no guarantee how well they will work. I can't remember the other one they said, and I mean, obviously they designed it to work with our machine, so I mean, putting it through another machine, basically they've said voids the warranty. What else? Other than that, it's just a matter of having fun with it. So they did say they're coming out, I think, probably for this next catalog, which for demonstrators, we will get to see the digital catalog on like next week, July 15th, I think we get to see it. So I think there's going to be even more in that catalog, which is crazy. So there'll probably be Christmas stuff, winter stuff with it. So lots of fun things coming. All right, well, hopefully you've enjoyed this and have a great rest of your week. Hopefully you're enjoying summer, and we'll see you next Wednesday. All right, bye.